We're live. Tony, would you do roll call, please? This is the February 24th UCO operations meeting.
Okay. Joanne Robinson. I'm here. Tony Burrows is here. David Boas. Here. Jerry is a no. Bruce
He's here.
is a yes. Stuart is a yes. Patricia is a no.
No.
Joe is a yes. Maureen Debinger.
I'm here.
Ruth is here. David Furness.
Nope.
John Craig.
John Craig is no longer part of this committee.
Okay. John Hash.
Works good.
Not here.
Bobby Levin.
Here.
Joyce Reese.
Yes.
John Timmerman.
Here.
Michael Zaslow.
Here.
Dan is here. Abby's here. Eva's here. And Monica's here. Okay.
Laura is the new member of the committee. She replaced John Craig.
Okay, Laura, what's your last name?
I know you looked at me funny when I sat on the
Okay. David Furness just walked in.
I know you know.
I tried to sneak in.
That's all right, I saw you. I will make sure that Erica straightens that out.
Okay.
All
I
right.
returned this to her. but I
No problem.
Okay. You have four.
Okay. Miss Monica. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have minutes from January 27th. And I need a motion in a second.
I move that they be accepted, and John seconds it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will be accepted as presented. Good job, Tony.
Thank you.
Okay, Miss Monica, you're up.
Okay, thank you. Good
Yes.
afternoon, everybody. This afternoon, we're looking at your WPRF Statement of Operations for the 2 months ended December 31st. Revenue for the month of December is $523,000. Expenses $542,000, so we had a loss for the month of $18,000. For the 2 months, our total income is $1,040,000, and the expense is $1,091,000, so we have a loss of $51,000. For the 2 month period, we had actually budgeted a loss of $142,000, so that gives us a positive variance of $91,000. Any questions? At the bottom is your social activity summary for the month of December. Your theater and dance income, $23,865. For your theater, dance, and movie expense, we spent $24,222, so we had a loss of $357. For the 2 months, your theater and dance income, $43,513. We spent $50,267, so we have a loss of $6,754. We had budgeted for the 2 months a loss of $14,235, so it's a positive variance of $7,481. Next report is your cash balances. As of December 31st, our total operating funds were $434,000. Our reserve funds, your windstorm deductible reserves, are at $1,448,000. And our contingency infrastructure improvement reserves are at $679,000. So our total reserved funds, $2,126,000. Total available cash, $2,560,000. Next report is your social activities report, and this is for the month of January. There were 4,592 theater tickets sold during the month of January. Our gross sales, $63,861. After reducing that revenue for the sales tax collected, our net sales is $58,800, and we pay the performers $78,450. So we have a loss of $18,650. For your Friday night dances, 865 people attended the dances. We paid the DJs $1,895. For the 4 movies that were shown during the month of January, 785 people attended the movies, and we spent $991 for the movies. So between your theater, dances, and movies for the month of January, we have a loss of $21,535. When you compare those 2 months to the prior year, for that ended January 31st, 2025, we had a loss of $12,451. There is a note at the bottom just to bring you up to date on our efforts for our outside ticket sales to Cypress Lakes and Golden Lakes. Our total sales were 313 tickets at $16 per ticket, totaling $5,008. Any questions? Okay. Next report is your Estoppel results. This is also through January. This year, for the 3 months, there were 78 units sold in this community. In the same period in the prior year, there were 74 units. We've collected $20,740, which is actually $5,120 more than we collected in the prior year. So there's only a 4-unit difference between the prior year and this year. Instead of going down like it's been doing for the last couple of years, it's looks like it's headed up a little bit. So that's a 5% increase in the number of units. Any questions there? Okay. Next report is your revenue collected from guests. This is also through the end of January. Our resident box office sales for the 3 months is $61,262. Box office sales to guests, $39,852. Total of box office sales, $101,114. This represents box office sales at a level of 39% of your total sales at the box office. In terms of the number of tickets sold, 4,713 tickets sold to residents versus 2,487 tickets sold to guests. Total tickets sold, 7,200. That converts into dollars for those guest tickets sold, $7,461, which is the $3 guest fee that's included in their ticket prices. Guest passes that were sold in the ID office for the 3 months, $10,915. Guest passes that were sold in the staff office, another $3,765. So total revenue generated from guests for the 3 months, $22,141. Questions? Okay. Very quickly, I have 2 other items on the agenda. I just wanted to give the committee an update on what I'm going to call incidents, not claims, but incidents that are reported to our third-party administrator. Most of them are trip and falls. You know, they're general liability claims for the most part. But if you recall, in August of 2024, we changed our insurance platform to go to a self-insured retention. So the way that works is instead of all of our incidents being reported directly to the carrier, they're actually reported to this third-party administrator. And this third-party administrator manages these incidents. So we're not going to call them a claim. So between the beginning of August of 2024 and through January 31st of 26, which is halfway through our current policy period, between the 3 century villages, there have been 119 incidents reported to our third-party administrator. Pembroke Pines has 41% of those claims, Boca Raton has 31%, and West Palm Beach has 28%. Of those 119 incidents, only 2 have been reported to the actual carrier. They don't get reported to the carrier until there's an actual lawsuit. Both of those claims that have been reported to the carrier are out of Pembroke Pines. So you guys are doing very good with your claims, with the 3 communities having the lowest incident of incidents. So that's always a good thing.
Excellent.
Yes, okay. And of course, by going to that type of a platform with our general liability, it saved us quite a bit of money in premium. So it looks like it was a good move for us. So, okay, one other thing real quick I wanted to mention. I am making some changes to your reserve money. You can see you have an awful lot of money in reserves, and it's getting harder and harder to go around to all these little different banks trying to keep the balance in the account under the FDIC insured $250,000 limit. So I'm going to be closing some of these accounts and moving them into accounts that are called ICS, which stands for Insured Cash Sweep. I'm moving some of this money to Bank United, which has a National Community Association program, and they're offering these products to us. Right now starting at a 3% rate, which is better than what we're earning on some of the accounts. So I am going to be closing probably maybe 4 accounts in West Palm Beach to the tune of like $560,000 and moving them into this insured cash sweep, and there's no limit. And every dollar, I could have $1 million in one account, and every dollar of it is insured because it's swept out into a network of a multitude of banks and spread out so that the funds are always 100% insured. So that'll be taking place hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So just want to let you know. You'll see some movement on your cash summary coming up soon. Any questions? Okay, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Pool illumination updates. It says Dan, you're up.
Yes, good afternoon. I just met with the engineers today, actually, and with this particular pool, the indoor pool, which we're trying to get a night certification, we just been told that it does not meet the lighting specifications. So we're going to look at what it's going to take to bring it to that, and the cost for that.
Was it a long list?
No, it missed it by not too much, but for us to have the specifications and everything sent to the Board of Health, that's to get that approval, everything has to be done a certain way, you know. So we're going to go and see what that cost is going to be and what kind of lighting we would need, okay, and get back with you hopefully in a couple weeks here.
Okay.
Okay. The electrical project, last week I met with the engineers and FP&L Zoom, and being a little bit complicated, FP&L as usual, in the way that they're basically saying that the transformer here is adequate, okay? Our engineer has done the study, okay, and we know that when we shut off some equipment right now that is off, it's the reason why the system tripped, okay? But now they want us to do a full study, okay, which we are going to give them a full load study. That means to turning everything back on, actually get the actual load to them, and then they will come back and say, okay, if they need to increase the size of that transformer, okay? If that's the case, then we don't have to have 2 meters. We're going to actually just be able to take that, the switch gear, and be able to put a separate a switch, inside, which will probably be about 400 amps to adapt for anything else in the future that we might have for heaters and things like that. Because in the switchgear itself, we're pretty much loaded. So we have enough to put another DP somewhere in either the electric room somewhere, and from there we will tap off to go to get some other power to doing certain things in the clubhouse, like heating pools and lightings that we have to upgrade.
So it'll be like in a parallel?
Well, you have the capability of the switchgear. When we did make that change out, we put it so that you could have it had more than the 80% that you needed. Okay, so I think we're at the load capacity of about 1,000. I think that thing has a 2,500 capacity. So we still have enough to actually take off of there, and we'll size the DP to what we could take off of that, so that we could have breaker space, okay, to be able to tap off to do certain things. Okay, all right. And then of course accommodate ourselves in the way of, if they do change the transformer, we will be able to accommodate the indoor. I think it's the indoor pool, the electric heat that we've turned off so far right now. Okay, because it's just too much of a load that it trips. But we're going to test that, and it might be that we might trip that switch when we're ready to do that. We will inform the either here when we're going to do that and take that load study. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. Sandblast and seal residents, the last time we were here, basically they asked how long it would take, and it would take about a month's time, okay, to do the outdoor resident pool sandblasting of pavers. Okay. We are looking to start that in mid-April, okay?
Finish up in mid-May, and that way we kind of skip the, or ahead of the rainy season startup, so.
Okay, and today I met with some, it's not on here, but I did meet with the engineers that are for Kent Pool that we had on the budget, okay? The engineer had met with the contractors out there for getting us a bid with these contractors, so it was a thorough explanation of the drawings, okay? And hopefully we can get something within another 2 to 3 weeks back from the contractors. That's it with me. Any questions?
Yes, Marie?
Question, I don't know if it pertains to you or not, but in the party room, on the back part, I guess where the stage is, the overhead lights, automatic lights that go on and off, like, why do they all of a sudden, for no reason, get really bright, and then they don't go off? It's almost like there's a ghost in the room. Honest God. It's like,
I have to see that because I have no answer to that one unless somebody,
We could have
has anybody heard any?
I have not, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Okay,
it happens all frequently.
so this is where the stage area is?
Yes, it is.
Over the stage.
The overhead lights that don't.
Hi-hats,
Ones,
they're
I
hi-hats.
guess. No, the ones that look, the newer
Oh,
ones.
like these?
The newer ones.
Oh, because those are, if I'm not mistaken, aren't those the special ones where basically they adjust to the lighting? They adjust. If they're closer to the windows, they adjust. If there's extra lighting coming from the outdoor, they will shut down, and if it starts getting darker, they will adjust to come upwards automatically.
So what happens is during the Friday night dance, for instance, okay, it's dark, you know, lights are down, not down low, but low enough. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, last week, both sides, they both lit up like it was daytime.
Okay, so something, thank you for telling us that, because it's got to be something in the way of the system not working properly. But that's what they're supposed to do, and they gradually actually increase, okay, and decrease. They shouldn't just go, you know, it shouldn't be so that you can see that. It's actually, it should be a gradual increase.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it has to have been happening before, and you never noticed that was happening. But right now, the way you're explaining it to me, something's wrong, okay? Because you're not supposed to see that brightness like that. It gradually increases depending on the darkness and the brightness in the room. Okay?
No, these went.
That's just for energy
full
savings.
on, and let me tell you, there was a lot of angry people at that.
I will look into it and make sure that that's what I'm telling you is exact, if we have that type of lighting there, because we did some changes. Huh?
Please, next time, because you're an usher, please write it down, because I get those reports.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah. I know.
How long were the lights like that?
How long?
Yeah, it just started.
It happens every now and then, not all the time.
How long
No,
does it
but I mean,
last?
how long were
How
they
long did
really
it
bright?
stay
Did they
Oh,
stay
how
that
long
way?
did it stay on? Probably 10
through, okay? But the ones that are close to the windows, they're supposed to gradually adjust from the lighting on the outside. I'll look at it, I don't know if that's the case, but we'll look at it. Okay, thank you for letting us know.
Okay, very welcome, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions, anything that they want to say? Because we're, oh,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like in another world today, but we talked about the pool test with the lighting.
Yes.
How did that go again?
we failed.
Okay, and what are we doing about it?
Okay, we're getting another test, okay, to see exactly what we would need there for lumens, okay? So the engineer is going to design something for us so that we could get a price for the committee, approximate price cost to upgrade the lighting, to meet the requirements that the Board of Health is requiring. Yes.
This has to do with the pools in general. I noticed there's a lot of complaints about the pool, what time the pool closes at night. And
Yes.
it seems to be a lot of controversy around that. Could you explain just how that works?
Well, again, we don't have any operating licenses that allow us to do that. And on the pool signs, it says that, we open at dawn and we close at dusk, and there's no swimming beyond dusk. We keep the decks open, but there's no actual swimming. And this came about also because our insurance company happened to say something. So we are now in compliance, and we're trying to get the issue with the indoor pool resolved first. Then I would be interested in looking at Hastings and a cost for that, and also the guest pool, actually. But this is clearly now going to take time, because I really thought that we were going to pass the indoor pool with no problems whatsoever, that this was a real surprise.
And the only pool that I know for a fact that would pass the study would be the resident pool, because when we did the outside lighting years ago, that was brought up because of functions on the outside, and we had to meet the requirements back then. So I know that I have to look up, but I'm going to say that's over a decade. I can't remember when we did that, when we put the pole lights out there, Or the guest pool, sorry, excuse me, I don't have any.
Guest pool.
The guest pool, yes. That's because we had, I think, functions that were outside, and to have those functions in the evening, we had to have the light. So I know that one would probably be very close to passing. But the other ones that we're mentioning here, that's just been a state code for many, many years, okay? And unfortunately, when something happens, okay, is when people we have to, go by the regulations of the
Okay,
law,
thank you.
How long would it take for the indoor pool to get the proper lighting and
I don't
get
know.
all this finished up?
And depending on the cost, okay, then we would have to bring it in front of the committee if that's something that they would want to do now, or is it a budgeted item, okay, because of the cost. We'll just see when the cost comes in, we could then discuss that, but it's going to take at least another couple of weeks, okay, for the engineers to make their study.
Okay.
Well, any of this is dependent on the project with FP&L and having more electric to draw from. So, but that will happen over the summer. And again, really surprised the indoor pool didn't pass. Bobby?
Is the laundry room, the public laundry room on the agenda for later, or can I ask?
That is going to be under UCO. We're not in charge of that project.
I'll be happy to answer whatever question. If you want to bring it up now before we go to Abby, by all means.
I've lived here almost 25 years, and I never understood the rationale behind UCO paying for a laundry room.
Okay.
Could you
Because-
just tell me why?
Absolutely, because Stratford and Plymouth, when they were built, were not allowed to have washing machines. So they needed a place to do the laundry, and that's why they put the laundry room in that area. Because those buildings, all the Stratford buildings, everybody that put a washer and dryer in there, not supposed to be there. They're not equipped for it. Okay, so they needed a laundry room to be able to do it, and that's why that was there. And if you looked at Donald's report, we were there on Friday. Originally, the engineer designed replacing 60 feet of black pipe under the building. It's now 180 feet, because more than half of that pipe was completely clogged. And every time that it backed up and we sent the plumber in there, some of the pipe that's supposed to be 8 inches had like a 1-inch thing where it came through. So we had to replace all of it.
So are you saying to me that no Stratford units have washers and dryers?
They're not supposed to, no,
They do.
but they do. People put them in anyway.
Right.
And one of the reasons, some of those buildings have 1 meter for the whole building. So.
So
and
there's
they're-
no laundry room
Right,
shared
there's-
on
there-
each floor?
No,
Nothing?
no, exactly. So, not only that, but some people that are doing it, they're actually running the drain for the washing, they're actually running it in the drain for the building instead of the individual unit. So, there's 1 meter, there's 1 meter for the whole for one whole
I
building.
was just curious.
Yeah,
I
that's why.
couldn't understand why. I mean, when Century Village was built, we didn't have washers and dryers and unit. And
Well, most of that first section, they're not supposed to have a washer and dryer in. And that's why the Plymouth Laundry was built, to help those people.
thank you.
But after 50 years, it was time to quit. And crazy things, they laid copper tubing inside the cement when they laid the cement. So, Dan would
Doesn't surprise me
appreciate that.
that's the old code, and the same thing with electrical and everything else that was laid right after the pour, so.
Exactly.
There's a whole different code in how you actually sleeve even the air conditioning line stuff, so.
Exactly. So, but
Don't talk to me.
when it's done, it'll be an A1 project that everybody should be proud of.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Well, then I'd say it's going to be Abby's turn, and Michael, I would need you to turn off the cameras for this section of the meeting. Thank you.